Hey, what's up, guys? Today I got my guy Ant here in the chair. What we doing today, bro?
Get the taper on the sides and then taper on the back.
Okay, cool, sick. My guy actually been growing his back part out for about a year or two, and we transitioned into a taper today. It's gonna be really, really cool. I'm actually glad that he came with his hair saturated today. We're gonna create a nice transition right here to start off. Take some of those curls off to give ourselves the room to fade into, to create a nice foundation for the taper. And then we're not touching the top today, just gonna make sure that everything transition well into each other together, create a nice blurry fade, line them up, and then taper the sides and do a lineup in the front. Let's go. Brand new can of Cool Care. Gonna make sure our shears are nice, disinfectant and clean, and then you're gonna wanna spray the disinfectant off the tool, any tool you're using, just to make sure you're not getting it on the client's skin, because they could be allergic or sensitive to the actual disinfectant. So now we're gonna get started in the haircut. We're gonna angle the client's head down, just so we can see a clear plan on the haircut that we're trying to achieve. So we're gonna mimic our taper nice and round like this. We're gonna follow that shape with the same cutting line. So the client told us earlier he wants the taper not too high, but high enough just so you can still see the taper. So we're gonna kind of go just underneath his occipital bone and his nape, right in the middle here, and cut. And now we're gonna go round into the ear instead of straight. And you see we have a natural, nice ending point right there where the shortest hair is, and that's our last cut we just made. We're gonna connect the two together. As you guys can see, we have a nice transition line from here through here. Now sometimes it's tricky when you're cutting curls because you gotta get the shear right underneath the curl, just so you make sure you're actually cutting something. Because the curls can typically do like they're doing now and curl over your fingers. And now following around through there, and we should be approaching and seeing another nice natural guide here through this side. So just connect the two together. There's our nice natural guide. That's our last cut we made. Orange number 4 guard and attached to our clipper. Gonna start close and stop right at that line.
Bro, it was not. When you add things together, sometimes it just take it to
Following that same U shape with the clipper as I did with the scissors. Nice and round. Now I'm gonna open the clipper up all the way to feather that section out. This is gonna soften up that line just a little bit, so now you're blending the curls into our fade taper. Now I'm gonna do the same exact thing on the other side. I'm gonna start close to create a nice base for ourselves, and then open the clipper up and blend and feather that out to create the two and mesh the two zones together. And now feather it up. Now you see this curl over here is kind of flipping a little bit more than this one, so I kind of want to make these two sides match. I'm going to use just a little raking technique with the number 4 guard just to play it safe. I'm going to angle the client's head down. I'm just going to rake at these curls to mimic the other side. And now we're gonna regress down into our fade. We're gonna set everything up, and this is where you can kind of choose pretty much how you wanna fade this. You can fade this going up or down. I'm actually gonna go ahead and stamp my 0 line in. I'm gonna start very, very low, because as you guys can see, using the 3-finger technique, we don't have much room to work with. This is gonna be our blade open area. Underneath here is our bald. This is number 1, this is number 2. We're gonna stack the number 3 and 4 in this area around the transition zone. Trimmer. Use our shaver to get even closer than that. Just right underneath our trimmer work. What I'm gonna do now is set ourselves up for success. I'm gonna quickly maneuver through using our blade open, 1 open, and number 2 open all the way to the top, and then regress back down. This is gonna hurry up and show us what exactly the fade is gonna look like, how the hair is gonna react to each and every single guard. So blade open, following that U shape, just flicking out just a bit, and following it round. Okay, now we have a good idea what the blade open looks like on his hair type and his hair texture. Now we're going in with our number 1 open. And just flicking out just a little bit above of where we were. Making sure not to go up too high into the fade. So now we know what the blade area open looks like, we know what the ball looked like, and now we know what the number 1 open looks like. We're gonna transition to our purple number 2 guard, blade open. We're gonna scoop just right above that, creating a little bit more of a transition. Didn't use the number 3, we're gonna grab the blue number 3 guard, transition that number 4 to the number 2, using this. Start open every single time we do this because that's the longest measurement. And you guys can see, following just that U shape, straight line here in the middle and curving it as I get to the sides. And now we're ready to work our way down. Back to our number 2, again starting at our longest length, just to ensure that we're marrying the 2 zones together and then working our way down. This is a guard that we didn't use working our way up. This is a 1.5 guard. And this is a guard that barbers tend to like to use when they're doing fades. And this is something that wasn't always used before when fading. This helps get you in between the darker zones and the light zones, make it very, very easy to fade with. I'm gonna start open with this as well. This has a bit of a measurement that some of the number 2 guard has. That's okay, we're gonna start open just to be safe and close it up as we go down. I'm gonna close it up halfway, just a bit. And now close it up all the way. Starting with the number 1 open and attacking just these little dark spots in every zone here. Just feathering out. Blending, only using my corner work. We set every guide in with our clipper flat and that blade open. As we working down now, using our corner work, blending into the dark spots. And now close the clipper up just a little bit. Almost there. Now I feel like in this part of the fade, things can get very meticulous. We still have a few sections, a few zones to go. We can use our half guard and we can use our blade open. But what I want to do is kind of save that for detail work. As you get into these shorter zones of the hair from the darker areas, it's going to be all detail work. It's very, very important to kind of go ahead and spot check. But right now we have a nice base. I want to go ahead and line this up. So we'll just use some holding spray to kind of lock this line up in place before we do so. And this actually has alcohol in it, so it's going to clean the skin while locking it in place. So I'm going to spray a little bit on the other side and just a light mist. That's all you need. Just 1 or 2 seconds of spray followed by the blow dryer. Just kind of hold it in. About 15 to 20 seconds, so just enough to dry the product. Then make sure it's dry on the other side. And we're gonna start in the middle of the lineup of this area here. It's gonna create a nice bridge and give us a nice visual of the image that we're trying to create. We don't wanna go too far in, creating a sharp V. We wanna leave the back of this lineup nice and full, have a nice full taper to match and tailor to his neck. And start in the center area here. I'm gonna go up just a bit to give us a guide point. And we use the word guide point early in this video. Gonna give us a guide point for our trimmers to go around the ear. Now we're gonna go to the lower part of this lineup. I'm gonna flip the trimmer around just to get rid of the excess hair. Now you see we got a nice outline on that side and just a little bit of detail work we have left to go. So instead of us getting into the middle of just fading all that out, lining it up, and then come back and take care of it, we got a nice vision and a nice frame for us to work with. So I'm gonna do the exact same with the other side. Pick a middle point to start with and stamp that in. And before we go to the bottom, I'm gonna give ourselves a nice transition zone up here to work around the ear again on this side. Same exact thing, guys. Just gonna pick up where we left off with our half guard. Using the same mechanics as before, only using the corner. You can even tilt your clipper up like this. Lay it down for me just a bit. All right, perfect. As you guys can see, taper is looking blurry. Guys, we are ready to transition into our side taper. We can see our back taper completed. This is our middle zone here. We don't have to fade in this area at all. The client requested to keep these curls here and not to go too high on his fade. We're gonna do the exact same thing as we did to the back. We're gonna start with the foundation with the scissors and give ourselves a nice base to lead up into with our clippers. And then put our steps in. It's the same thing, step by step. And we can see that's just right underneath your C cups. That's perfect for our visual. Gonna go and cut that line in. Same as before, we should see nice natural guide there to connect our foundation into skin area, 3-finger technique right here. Same thing, just under the C cup. Going within our number 4 guard to create that base. Just feather that in nicely. Same thing on the other side. That's gonna be our skin area just below. Stamp that in. I'm gonna use this single foil side just so we can see what we're doing. Instead of using this and that we're not knowing exactly what we're shaving. Now it's our fade preparation work. Blade open.
I don't remember his first name.
One open.
He was a safety. He played for the Panthers at one point.
2 open, and we're anticipating ending right here around this area. Now we know what our blade open looks like, we know what our 1 open looks like, and we know our skin. Now we just need our 2. We know we left off with our number 3. Attach that and go right above our 2, and we're gonna marry it into the 4. And now we're gonna be working our way down because I'm loving this transition here to the fade from the curls. I'm gonna close this up and descend right underneath where we just looked on. Close it up all the way. 1.5. This system helps you quickly transition. This is in real time. Fade in between the guards. I'm going halfway with this 1.5 guard. I don't tend to maneuver in between the open and close and the lever with the larger guards, like the number 2, number 3, and number 4. But the smaller guards, once it starts to get to that 1.5, I will. Now the number 1 guard, open again. Same steps every single time, guys. And now we're gonna see maneuver in between this lever I was just talking about earlier and be halfway with this 1 guard. Now you can see our fade start to coming together. Got our transition zone into those curls already solidified. We get our blend zone coming all the way down to our lighter zones. Blade close. Just tapping. We're gonna go ahead and prep ourselves for our lineup. Gonna take a small section. You can see this lineup area is already prepped just a bit because he's gotten a lineup before with me. So we're only getting the edges, making sure not to dig into his curls. I'm gonna palm our comb and come in here, hair clamp, exposing his lineup so we can come here with our trimmers. Gonna go ahead and hit this with the holding spray. 3-finger technique, you can see right underneath there. Let's go ahead and check that, establish our fade zone. It's gonna be right on the eye level, another reference point that we can use to make sure we're doing the same thing on both sides. In the area nice and clean, just underneath that trimmer. I'm gonna move through this fairly quick because we know exactly what we need to do. Same system over and over, and we have a nice base to work into. That allows us to work fast and efficient. And that's the point of setting those bases up. I'm gonna go past a certain point, and I can work fluently through. Like when I first started being a beginner barber, so I was locked in, you know, like, and I thought I was doing the right thing, which, you know, I feel like I was, man, locked in doing 7 days a week, but I was missing the service part of it. I was so locked into the product part of cutting hair. But, you know, I advise anybody, especially people who own their own business, to go out and treat yourself to a fine dining experience, man, or treat yourself to a nice resort and, you know, see how they treat you, then bring it back to your business, or treat your clients the same way, give them that same feeling. I promise you the service part, not the product and quality part of your business, but service is a part of your business, so that'll definitely upgrade you. Before I start with the trimmers, I'm going to take my smaller shears. These are more precise. You can see it comes to a sharp point here, as opposed to the larger shears I normally use in my videos. I'm going to come through here and just cut out that excess, making it easy for our trimmers to go through. So we're going to start around the ear first, using where we left off, connect that round. And now for the front hairline, this fray, we're going to start with the client's side bars. Just because it's the middle of the 3 points we're going to be working with as far as the lineup goes. We have our side bars, our C cups, and our front hairline. The side bar is going to be the middle that connect these two elements together. Here's the eyebrow, attack the hairline. We're going to go into our C cups. They're both naturally about the same points here, so it doesn't matter which one we start with, so I'm just gonna pick this side here. And this is our bridge right here in the middle. That's the part that's gonna curve in between the two. His bangs are relatively where his lines should be, so we're just gonna go in. Starting in the middle and working our way to one side. And I like to move through kind of balance, so I'll work my way from side to side just to make sure I'm ensuring that I won't necessarily work to one side all the time. Sometimes I will, but it just kind of depends on how I feel. In this situation, I'm picking not to, because when you're working with curly straight hair bangs, it's kind of tricky. You turn it into a lineup. It can move on you. So I don't want to work to one side and feel like it's secure and comb everything, and then it's not, still shaky. So now I'm ready to go into my corners. Got a nice middle point for us. Now I just got to taper this bottom part out. Picking up where we left off, half guard.
And he has nothing to do with, he don't sell like Mike.
To open.
The point is, you're not associated with, and how much money he's already made at 20 years younger. What you talking about, that school where none of the kids pull that up since you want to talk about numbers. You talking about numbers, Mr. Hyper.
We did exactly what we needed to do here today. We gave the client a nice taper transition into his curls, gave us a nice base with the number 4 and that scissor work, blending from bald, completely nothing, to those curls. Same thing here in the back, nice taper, curls on top, and didn't break the integrity of what the client requested. So, till next time, thank you guys for watching. Peace.